This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Humid with a possible late shower, a high of 33. With the 4 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig. The Adelaide Crows' bid to make their new headquarters at the old Brompton Gasworks site has been dealt a blow. Melbourne-based developer MAB Corporation's been selected to rejuvenate the land. The state government says the project will deliver long-term benefits to the state through remediation of the site and jobs. The Crows say they're still intent on establishing a world-class training, administration and community facility and have shifted focus to Theberton Oval. 13 more COVID-related deaths have been recorded in SA. A man in his 50s, a man in his 70s, 2 men in their 80s, 2 men in their 90s, 2 women in their 60s, 2 women in their 70s, 1 in her 80s and 2 in their 90s. The death notifications span the last 2 weeks. 1,953 new cases have been reported. Premier Stephen Marshall has a further breakdown of those battling the virus.
In hospital, no movement in terms of the totals. Hospitalised still sitting at 288 and a slight increase, 27 in intensive care and 5 on ventilators.
Premiers and Chief Ministers have agreed to change the management of truck licences to alleviate staff shortages. Licensing will now be based on competency and skills rather than just time spent driving. Australia will also recognise New Zealand licences. The federal government's on standby to provide supplies of natural gas to Europe amid major energy shortages. Resources Minister Keith Pitts says it shows the value of the sector.
To Australian banks and Australian finances, this is why I want you to reconsider the decisions you've made previously about providing finance to Australia's resources sector. It's incredibly important not only for our national security, but it's also incredibly important for our international ties.
Prince Andrew has asked for a jury trial as he denies all allegations against him in a sexual assault lawsuit. Virginia Giuffre's accused the royal of abusing her when she was a teenager. Andrew's arguments for her claim to be dismissed include her Australian residency and the 2009 settlement she reached with Jeffrey Epstein. A success story for the Monarto breeding program. Lioness Hassani has given birth to 5 cubs. They arrived on Monday night. The safari park says both mum and cubs are doing well.
The all-new Kia Sportage is in store at New Spot Kia Salisbury Park. Order now to avoid delays.
Nick Kyrgios and Thanasi Kokkinakis have found a place in the men's doubles final at the Australian Open. They took the first set 7-6 and just won the second 6-4. Dylan Alcott's up next in the decider of the quad wheelchair singles. It's also the final match of his career. Tonight, world number 1 Ash Barty plays Madison Keys for a place in the women's final. Craig Gabriel previews the action.
Barty goes in against Keys with a 2-1 record, having won the last 2, but they haven't played in almost 3 years. The world number 1 has had straightforward results and has lost only 17 games so far, but she knows that Keys is dangerous.
Maddie is an exceptional athlete. She's got a great serve.
Ash hopes to be the first Australian woman finalist since Wendy Turnbull in 1980. The other semi is Danielle Collins against Iga Swiatek.
This Australian Open tennis update thanks to the super fast charging all-electric Kia EV6.
Meg Lanning and Rachel Haynes have fallen short of centuries in Australia's one-off women's Ashes test in Canberra. Haynes reached 86 and Lanning 93. The Aussies are now 5 for 278. Matilda's player Tamika Yallop's tested positive for COVID, potentially causing issues ahead of tomorrow's Asia Cup group match against Thailand. And an AFLW player will be forced to sit out tomorrow night's GWS Western Bulldogs game after deciding not to wear a jumper which recognises and supports the LGBTQI community during the league's Pride round. Aneen Rika, who plays for the Giants, says it's due to religious reasons and she's explained her situation to teammates. Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
Complete windscreens, same-day service and best price guaranteed. Proudly South Australian since 1976. Complete windscreens.
Around St Peters, Norwood and Stepney, got a series of traffic lights playing up on Osmond Terrace, Paynham Road and Robe Terrace. Take extra care around there today. Engle Farm got some road damage, potholes. That's on Montague Road near Red Hill Road from that earlier weather. Hackham, Main South Road near River Road, speeds at 40 k's. Cameras today, Adelphi Terrace, Glenelg North and Birtwood Terrace at North Plympton. Warrow, split your local Adelaide Central Market for the best fresh produce. Shop local today, 5:30 till 9pm Friday and Saturday from 7am. Home delivery now available. Your Adelaide Central Market. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, humid with a possible late shower, a high of 33. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 27. Saturday, partly cloudy, 29. And mostly sunny Sunday, 32. At the moment, 33. Now let's see what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Sudden storms smashed the state. The incredible pictures from across SA. The woman who paid a vulnerable person to get the COVID vaccine for her. The latest in Prince Andrew's legal saga. Why we could be paying more for petrol for longer. And house price surge. The Adelaide suburbs in a property boom. I'm Kate Collins. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
The 5AA Sport Show with Stephen Rowe. Adelaide's sport destination. All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi. This is Rowey's Sport Show.
Yes, it is. Good afternoon, everyone. 6 minutes after 4. Happy Monday to you. Doesn't it feel like a weekend, Bix, after just a little sneaky day off midweek? It is Thursday, the 27th of January. Rowey's still out with COVID, which means that Mark Bickley's here. Afternoon, Bix.
Good afternoon, Leith, and afternoon to everyone that's tuning in. You're right, it does feel like a Monday. There's so much sport happened in the last 24 hours and continues to happen. You would have just heard in the news that Special K, Nick Kyrgios and Thanasi Kokkinakis, they're into the final, but what a lot of people may not know is they're taking on another all-Aussie duo. Max Purcell and Matt Ebden have made it through, so it's going to be an all-Aussie final. Remembering Dylan Alcott is about to go on court. He's in the quad singles, so that could be another Aussie, or it is another Aussie representation. And we've all got our fingers crossed, of course, that Ash Barty may get there as well. So this will be a very rich vein of form for all the Australians in this this big Grand Slam tournament.
So let me ask you this question. Who do you go for, Australia or Australia A? Are you on Victor Kyrgiakis or are you going Purcell and Ebden?
I don't know. Look, I don't know why, but the underdog, there's something about that, isn't there? We always back the underdog. But look, let's just hope we get 3 sets. We hope it's a cracking match. And in the end, an Aussie's going to win, which would be great. And I think you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the men's doubles comes on after the ladies' singles.
That's right.
So potentially we might just have the warm glow of
how good's that?
Of Ash Barty having broken through, and then we know we've got a guaranteed Aussie Grand Slam doubles partnership to come.
We might run a poll on Rowey Sports Show Twitter account, find out who people are supporting. I'm thinking the crowd inside the stadium, they're all about the Special K. They're all about Kyrgiakos.
And of course, Thanasi Kokkinakis is a South Australian and friend of the show and has been great with his time. So obviously there's a soft spot there, which you can't lose, really, can we? Let's be honest.
So that is the good news to come out of the last 2 days. The disappointment was last night as we were watching the strikers who were so gallant, 6 on the trot, going for 7. They lost on the last ball.
Here we go. Final ball for a spot in the decider. 1 for a super over, 2 for a win. Kerr, he chips it. They're going to go for 2. They should get back. They're going to get home. The Sixers, they're an unbelievable team. They've got half a fit side. They'll play the Scorchers in the decider to try and win 3 in a row. Brilliant game of cricket.
So part of me is like, gee, it's amazing. You almost had 7 in a row. You've taken us this incredible ride. And then part of me was like, how did we lose that? Bix to a side that just had so many injuries and were no chance.
Well, and the performance of Hayden Kerr, let's not forget about that. 98 not out of 58 balls. We're not talking Steve Smith. We're not talking one of the greats of one-day cricket or T20 cricket. We're talking almost a young man who hasn't really played as a batsman before. Of course, he's a bowler as well. He's an all-rounder now, I'm guessing we're saying. But he had a phenomenal innings, not to mention he had a little bit of luck along the way. Had a couple of lives, dropped by
Matt Renshaw.
Matt Renshaw
out in the deep.
And there was
Alex Carey should have stumped him on 0.
First ball.
Yeah, so there was just 2 of those but you still thought we're going to win this. Peter Siddle comes on in what would be the 18th over and bowled so beautifully, and you thought, okay, Harry Conway's going to have to bowl the last. We thought we'll get through here, and it just went pear-shaped.
Well, it did. Not only that, they actually had to make the runs. They had to get them, and they were able to do that. Abbott was very good. 41 off 20, as we said. Hayden Kerr was unbelievable. And then there was a little bit of slight controversy towards the end.
Well, there was. We're looking forward to Jason Gillespie being on the show at 5 o'clock, but let's get to it because Jordan Silk basically had done his hamstring.
Pulled a hamstring in the field.
And was no chance of batting, but then he was needed at the very last ball, decides to be subbed out so that they can get through. Take a listen.
They're going to sub him out.
They're going to retire him hurt. They're going to retire him hurt.
Because he can't run?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know about this. It's Greg Shippert on the sideline. Jay Lenton was standing next to him ready to come on.
He still wants to get him out there. Peter Siddle's not agreeing with this.
Just not really sure about this.
Well, it's within the rules, but it's probably not in the spirit of the game.
Wow, big decision by Greg Shippert.
Yeah, look, I didn't have a problem with it. Like, in the end, he didn't retire hurt. So the ruling is, if you injure yourself in the field, you can only use a runner if you come in and bat at number 11. As it turned out, a wicket fell. Jordan Silk's a recognised batsman. They thought, we'll go in and see if he can hit a 4 or see what he can do. First, I think he might have got a single, and then he ended up in the non-striker's end for the last ball. They needed 2. So he just retired. There's a way you can do that in cricket. It's called retire. But you don't want to bat anymore, so they put a bloke who could actually run.
I'm going to stick with Adam Gilchrist, though. It might be in the rules, but is it in the spirit, Biggs?
No, look, I think if it's in the rules, it's in the rules. And I didn't have a problem with it. Let's, once again, take the catches, do the stumpings.
Yeah, true.
Pick up the ball in the field and throw it back to the keeper on the last ball. And if all that fails, then you can start to look outwardly. But I think Jason Gillespie would be a little bit flat that they weren't able to, one, get away to the score they wanted. They were probably always going to be 10 or 15 runs short, it appeared. And secondly, they've got a good enough bowling lineup and a good enough fielding lineup to defend that total, and they weren't able to do
Cricket enthusiasts have you say, are you with Bix? He has a great line, if, buts and candy nuts. It is all about the rules, or is it in the spirit of the game like the Mancad? You heard from Mark Waugh and you heard from Adam Gilchrist there. They didn't particularly like it. Here's what Peter Siddle had to say about the retirement of Jordan Silk.
No, at the time, you run up and you think, you heard it when he was fielding, so there's an issue. But you can retire, blokes. At the end of the day, you can retire. It's not actually a big issue. As soon as I brought it up with the umpires, obviously I was disappointed at the time, but it's just a retirement, isn't it? It happens a lot more than we expect. It's just sometimes it happens at crucial times. That's just a part of the game. But yeah, we gave ourselves a chance. Missed opportunities cost us in the end, so that's the game.
Diplomatic Peter Siddle.
No, look, to be fair to Peter Siddle, I was watching. When it happened, he went racing up to the umpire because I think he thought he was going to retire hurt as well. And the umpire said, no, he's retired. And Siddle went, oh, yeah, okay, and then just walked away. The other thing that I can say, I can put my hand on my heart and say, if Silk was out there, they went for 2, and he pulled his hammy, got run out, all these people who are saying it's not in the spirit of the game, they would be saying, oh, the Sixers, gee, they stuffed up. They could have retired Silk. Why didn't they do that? So you can't hump with the hounds and run with the foxes. I think there's a saying, something like that.
I'm quite sure there's a lot of humping in there, but I know what you're saying.
Hunting, I said.
Oh, hunting. So I thought, hump with the hounds.
Hunt with the hounds.
But the question is, if Jordan Silk is there, do the strikers bring the field in which case they have to push through that 2? In the end, I mean, Jono Wells, there's a misfield. It doesn't matter because they got through. But it'll be interesting to hear the thoughts of Jason Gillespie. If you're a cricket fan, did you like it? Did you dislike it? 8223 0000. Tennis fans, you can have your say on the previous question. Which one are you going for in the Australian doubles? Are you going for Kyrgiakos or are you going for Matty Ebden and young Purcell? The other big story of the day, and it's away from the field, but it does have an impact, and Crows fans who are just hopeful and wishing and praying for some kind of new spiritual home, it won't be at Brompton.
No.
It's been a matter of public interest for many months now. The process that the government, in particular Renewal SA, has gone through in terms of the old gasworks site at Bowden Brompton I'm announcing today the decision that I've taken based on a recommendation from the board is that MAB Corporation are the preferred proponent.
So there's the Treasurer, Rob Lucas. He will not be at that site, Bix.
Yeah, look, it's disappointing for Crows fans because it was a bit closer to the city, a few more transport options for people who may have wanted to get there after or before a game. But in the end, I always felt if the Crows are going to develop that and have a football oval and another oval about the size of a soccer pitch they were going to use for warm-ups and stuff, when you're competing against a developer, if a developer is out there to put up houses, their ability to be able to put in or pass over a bigger check, I guess, because they're going to be able to sell all those houses. Correct. And so I think Adelaide were appealing for the feel-good factor. We're going to have a lot of green space. This is going to be better for the community. There's going to be some ongoing jobs, but it's going to be a beautiful green space that people will be proud of. Or do we chuck a heap of houses up there that's going to net us a whole lot of money? I reckon the government would have found it hard to explain potentially to a lot of their voters, why did we turn our back on a huge check to make a feel-good factor and give it to a local footy team? And that would have been a hard discussion to have.
I think you're right. I think there were no chance in the end. So Rob Lucas is going to join us on the other side of this break. We'll also catch up with Michael Coxon, the Mayor of the City of West Torrens. Why? Because all roads now lead to the Barton. That will be the new home of the Adelaide Crows. If you'd like to join us, 8223 0000, on air at 5AA.com.au, or the Sip and Save text 0448 08 1395.
Hi, it's Jane Riley here. Join me for an amazing virtual road trip beyond the border to Victoria. All thanks to the local travel experts at RAA. This week, listen to David and Will in breakfast and Jade Robran during the afternoons as I chat with some amazing tourism operators from Geelong through to the Grampians. The virtual Victorian road trip, my must-see experiences and destinations over the border. All this week with David and Will and Jade. Thanks to the travel experts at RAA and 3095 Adelaide's 5AA.
In 4 days, Survivor begins.
Survivor's ready!
Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water starts in 4 days on 10.
Can't wait.
You can fix a leaky tap at home. You can patch the hole in the plasterboard. But connecting your own power points? Ow! Make your next move NECA. That's the National Electrical and Communications Association. Don't find the problem yourself. It's too dangerous. Instead, findanelectrician.com.au. Fully certified and ready to help. findanelectrician.com.au.
This is Shane. Shane loves his beer fridge. Nothing beats a chilled home brew. But Shane has a problem. He gets the gilts having it on all day. Well, Shane, save your gilts for serving subpar beer to your mates. Because NRG Solar gives you electricity guilt-free. Just guilt-free cold ales all day long.
Electricity guilt-free with NRG.
Stick to pouring coldies, Shane. NRGsolar.com.au.
Now, if you're a plumber, you might love the work, but feel like the bigger jobs can be a bit of a hassle. You spend a lot of time doing quotes that don't always lead to work, and it's a pain chasing customers who don't pay. Running the show can be tough. Maybe it's time for a career change. Work for one of Adelaide's most reputable companies, PureTap. They've helped bring clean drinking water into SA homes and businesses for over 25 years. Give PureTap a call. They have fantastic opportunities for fully licensed installers to join the team rolling out their award-winning purifiers across Adelaide. Spaces are limited though, and the opportunity won't last long. To find out more about becoming part of one of Adelaide's most respected companies, call PureTap now on 13 35 02 or 133 502, or you can apply at puretap.com.au.
Toyota's been driving off-road in Australia for over 50 years. So when designing the Fortuner, they built it with a powerful turbo diesel engine to get you through the toughest conditions. And even gave it a stylish interior and 7 spacious seats to keep you comfy whether you're off-road or on one. Visit your local Toyota dealer to book a test drive of the adventurous Toyota Fortuner. Oh, what a feeling, Toyota!
The Barossa Valley is gorgeous, which is why it makes sense to make the Vine change to retirement living in Barossa Village in Anguston, Tanunda and Nooriutpa. It's the retirement lifestyle you deserve, and your pets too. Yes, your pets are your family, so you should never have to choose between your lifestyle and your beloved animals. Make the Vine change at Barossa Village, under an hour from the city. Find out more at barossavillage.org.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi. This is Rowey's Sports Show.
19 minutes after 4, no Stephen Rowe because of COVID protocols. Returning on Monday, Mark Bickley sitting in the chair. We'll speak to the State Treasurer in just 1 second about the Crows not going to Brompton. But nothing beats the feeling of a new Mazda from Edwardstown Mazda. New car, new year and new you. Here's what's happening on the roads.
At Hilton, got a 3-car crash there, so not a Rabban Drive at South Road. Got lights playing up around St Peters and North Adelaide, Park Terrace at Melbourne Road, Robe Terrace at Walkerville Terrace and Paynham Road at Westminster Street. Engel Farm, road damage, got some potholes there, Montague Road near Red Hill Road, and we've got cameras Anzac Highway, Plimpton, Bray Street, Morfordville. Take better care of your sleep this new year. Come to the 40 Wink Stock Take sale and save up to 50% off store-wide. But hurry, sale must end Sunday. 40 Winks, serious about sleep. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
So, Bix, the MAB Corporation selected as the preferred proponent for the acquisition, the remediation and the development of the gasworks site of Brompton. What's that got to do with sport? It means that the Adelaide Crows will not be going there. The State Treasurer is Rob Lucas. He joins us. Treasurer, appreciate your time.
Good afternoon. Look, I'm honoured. After all my 40 years, I've made it to the sports show.
Time to retire, that means, Rob.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Let's start with the question I think that most people want to know. What was it that was in the MAB Corporation tender that was so compelling that they were allowed to win the tender process?
Well, look, the process is that there was an evaluation done by Renewal SA staff, and it went to the Renewal SA board, which is private sector board people running our Renewal SA agency, and they made a recommendation to me as the responsible minister. So the final decision was made by me based on their recommendation. And look, the reality is, looking at all the material, there was really only one decision that the board could have recommended, and frankly, there's only one decision that I could make, and that was this particular development. It's an exciting development proposal in terms of its economic development, long-term job prospects, 730 to 1,000 jobs once it's fully developed, around about 200 to 300 jobs a year for the construction period. So from a jobs and economic development viewpoint, inner city living, all of those other sorts of urban development reasons, it was an exciting proposition. And that's not to discount the value of and it wasn't just Ross Pelligra Group and the Crows bid. There were other unsuccessful parties as well. I think originally there were 10. It was shortlisted down eventually to 3 parties. So it wasn't just a battle between Ross Pelligra and the Crows versus MAB Corporation. There are other parties involved as well. But overall, the very strong recommendation that came via the board to me as the responsible minister was this was the particular development that needed to be supported.
So basically what you're saying is the ongoing job scenario and what it brought to that area was the compelling factor for you?
Well, it was a compelling factor, together with, obviously, the exciting nature of the proposal and the developments down there. So 25% open space, which is going to be public accessible. I mean, one of the challenges for the Crows, as you would know, Bix, is that whilst there was more open space going to be available, I think it was 40-odd% or whatever it might happen to be, clearly it was going to have to be used by the Crows and for training and for other reasons at various occasions throughout. And it'll have to be fenced as well. So in terms of its public accessibility, I mean, those of us who follow the SANFL will know the issues in terms of public accessibility with Unley Oval and Sturt, for example, where the public has access, but then the footy club's got to sort of manage things. It's not impossible, but it's nevertheless a challenge in terms of public access to a footy club oval, which is controlled by a powerhouse like an AFL club. So they were some of the challenges in relation to it. There's affordable housing, but these are the sort of things probably not of great interest to your sporting listeners as to the reasons why this proposal was the successful one. I mean, the challenge for the Crows, and both of you would know, I mean, John Olsen's been a 40-year friend of mine, so this was a difficult decision for me ultimately to take as a minister. But in the end, you've got to look at the evaluation, the evidence that's before you. You can't play favourites in this. We said all along this would be a fair process. We have probity auditors that look at it. And I think if anyone looked at the evaluation that was done, and if any other decision was taken, there would be significant questions being asked as to how that came about. So that's the process. The Crows have said all along, as you know, that they had two irons in the fire. They've been talking long and hard to the SANFL and to the West Torrens Council about Theberton. That was their original, or one of their original proposals, of course. And then they've had a serious look at Bowden Brompton. So I know the West Torrens Council are very, very excited about the prospect of having them as potentially as a long-term tenant down in the western suburbs. But that's an issue ultimately for the Crows to address. They've always said it was a serious prospect for them in terms of their home.
Appreciate your time, Treasurer. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's highlighted my career.
There you go. Welcome anytime. Call in at any stage. The State Treasurer, Rob Lucas, so big jobs of money, as you can imagine. 10-year development cycle, $459 million expenditure, economic impact, 190 jobs over 10 years to build, and then a future 1,000 jobs once completed. That means that all roads now lead down to the western suburbs. The Mayor of the City of West Torrens is Michael Cox. And Mayor, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Leith, and hi, Bex. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I guess one door closes for the Adelaide Footy Club, but another one opens for you guys at the City of West Torrens. You've been keen all along to have Adelaide come to Theberton.
Yeah, Bex, without a doubt. Our council is fully behind the proposal to provide the Crows with a safe landing at Theberton Oval. And while those plans didn't quite work out at Brompton, it provides an opportunity for our city of West Torrens.
There's going to be significant upgrade in and around Theberton Oval for a number of reasons. One, the tunnel and a lot of the stuff that's going on there that sort of encroaches a little bit. But can you tell us, you would have a good feel about the plans that are going on. There's a fair bit of work that's got to be done from Adelaide's perspective to get this up.
Yeah, look, it won't surprise the listeners to know this. The key issues for the council is community access and engagement. And the Crows have been very clear in our discussions that is also a priority for them as well. So we're both on the same page in relation to that. So we're very supportive of Adelaide's plans, and these discussions have been ongoing for some time now. So we look forward to actually the life that it's going to bring to that part of our city and the benefits. You know, clearly we're going to have a football hub that's going to encompass AFL, the local league SANFL, and also the Adelaide Football League. So, you know, to have a football hub in West Torrens is so exciting. And look, we couldn't be happier about it.
We know that obviously Theberton Oval will be used as the training ground for the training. I know Adelaide were keen to have two ovals. Is that able to be provided there at the Theberton site?
You know, clearly we're now in a position where we're starting to exhaust all possible opportunities to provide that. Long term, we think it's highly likely. There may be a little bit of a little bit of adjustments through the process while South Road is going on and so on. But we remain confident in the long term. This is going to be a fantastic development in the city of West Torrens. And may I just add one other thing? This proposed world-class facility is going to encompass the AFLW team, and so Theberton will be their home ground. And it will be great for the growth of women's sport in our area.
No doubt about that.
So when do you expect turnkey go, Mayor? What do you expect from here?
Well, you know, now we'll start having more formal discussions with the Crows as we start to work through the detail. Of course, there's the standard development process. There's community consultation. There's a number of things that we've got to start working our way through and getting our heads around. But look, whilst I certainly recognise the disappointment for some of the Crows, can I just say that the City of West Torrens is determined to provide the Crows with a safe landing at Theberton Oval. And I think that when the final plans are released, I think people will be really excited, and of course we are.
Appreciate your time, Mayor. Good job on Mellow Park too. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thanks, Lee.
There you
Take
go.
care.
Michael Coxon is the Mayor of the City of West Torrens. I've thought all along, Bix, having lived in the area and been at that site it's a no-brainer. Now, I understand there are some concerns people have, but they have the soccer field right next to it. You've got the aquatic centre just behind it. The FIVEAA Oval itself is like a bowling green. The Oval is beautiful in terms of a facility for Crows fans. I'd be buying the pub across the road on South Road if you get your hands on it. You've got the brickworks to the left.
Yeah,
it's not quite as close as people would want, but in terms of facilities for the Crows, I think it ticks the boxes.
Well, yeah, look, I think it's more about a spiritual home. So forget the pub, because the Crows aren't in the pub business. They've been there and done that. If you're going to build a club room, have a facility. There'll be a bar or something there, and there'll probably be some sort of limited license. But that's not what people are about. People don't want to go there and have a boozy, lunch every second day. Let the publicans run the pub. But I think they just want to be able to lay down roots. That's the most important thing. So, the trophy cabinet, all those things, and the accessibility where people can go along and see it. Whether I've been a little bit, I don't know what Theberton brings that Footy Park doesn't bring, and having seen some rough diagrams, it's really about you're able to spend a lot of money and build a facility that is much bigger, that's purpose-built, that is going to put Adelaide back in the top half a dozen facilities, as opposed to at the moment they'll probably be in the bottom half a dozen. So whilst they get it for free where they are, and whilst they've got an extended lease, they want to be able to put down roots, something that's world-class, as you heard the Mayor talk about, that they can call their own and they can start to make long-term plans with it. The unfortunate part about it is they want 2 ovals. The second oval, I'm led to believe, is going to be the area where a lot of the machinery is going to be based for the digging of the tunnel for 7 to 9 years. So that's a fair way down the track.
Got to dodge a couple of
to have like they've had at Footy Park, Cornsey calls it the construction site, and it's a disaster. Well, where they're going, it's going to be a construction site for a fair while as well. So there's all these things to consider, but I think longer term, the ability to put down roots somewhere and to be able to call it your own, whether it's perfect or not, I think you just got to make that decision.
Crows fans, you're going to have you say Theberton or just stay at West Lakes. We're going to take a break. Kendall has the news for us next.
5AA Breakfast. Campaign to change the date. Some of the loudest voices came from within the AFL, and perhaps the strongest statement came from one of our very own teams here in South Australia, the Port Adelaide Football Club. Matthew Richardson.
It's a significant issue for Aboriginal people, and therefore it's a significant issue for our club.
Informing Adelaide.
I think it's important to address this because it's something that does come up. People who say politics and sport shouldn't mix.
Football clubs can do so much more for the community.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
I'm Kendall Brettig. South Australia's recorded 13 COVID-related deaths, including reconciled data from the past 2 weeks, but case numbers are again below 2,000. Former TV presenter Andrew O'Keefe has been charged with assaulting a woman in a Sydney unit earlier this week. In the US, there have been plenty of tributes for basketball star Kobe Bryant and his daughter on the 2nd anniversary of the helicopter crash which killed them and 7 others. And the men's doubles final at the Australian Open will be an all-Aussie showdown with the Special Ks to play Max Purcell and Matt Ebden. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens repair it on the spot. $75. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
At Hilton, got a 3-car crash at Donald Brabham Drive at South Road. Got lights playing up around St Peters and North Adelaide, Park Terrace at Melbourne Road, Robe Terrace at Walkerville Terrace and Payneham Road at Westminster Street. Engle Farm got road damage there, potholes, Montague Road near Red Hill Road, with cameras today, Old Port Road Royal Park and Tapley's Hill Road at Glenelg North. Join iPrimers for fast internet, free modem and no setup fees. Switch at iprimers.com.au today. New customers and select plans only. Offer ends January 31. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
A late evening shower, then early showers and a possible storm tomorrow, a high of 27. At the moment, 33. More news at 5 o'clock and as it happens on 5AA.
Hi, Malcolm Blight here. You'll love the way they do business at Noel's Caravans with 4.5 decades of experience. Noel is proud to present their exclusive range of Island Star caravans. Visit their beautifully presented yard and talk to Noel's friendly staff about your personal needs. They can custom build your caravan at Noel's Island Star Caravans, 561 Salisbury Highway, Greenfields, opposite Mawson Lakes, serving Australia since 1974.
Noel's Caravans, Noel's Caravans, Noel's Caravans, Noel's Caravans.
Adventure has never been bigger with Royal Caribbean and Phil Hoffman Travel. On board you'll find next-level dining and game-changing entertainment. Plus Royal Caribbean's sun-soaked savings. Save up to 30% off every guest and receive up to $600 to spend at sea. Whatever your budget, every inch of a Royal Caribbean ship is designed to wow you. Cruise until April 2023 to the South Pacific, New Zealand, Australia and more. Ends 31st of January. Visit pht.com.au.
Hi, Roddy Jane here. Make sure your tyres are safe these holidays with Bob Jane T-Marts. No one beats our great getaway deals. Buy 3, get 1 free and up to $100 instant cashback on iconic brand, passenger, performance, SUV and 4x4 tyres. The biggest tyre range from just $65, our best tyre price guarantee and Australia's largest alloy wheel choice from only $125. We'll look after you.
T&Cs apply. Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Latest research shows around 80% of buyers search for new homes on their phone. So it's critical that content used to market properties is designed to maximise exposure on mobile devices. At Toop and Toop, our property videos are shot in portrait orientation to ensure they stand out from the crowd. It's just another way we've innovated to give our clients their best chance for premium results. Check out our game-changing property videos at toop.com.au.
G'day, Tom Wren here. Greyhounds love to run and greyhound fans love Thursday nights at Angle Park. For top greyhound racing, a great family atmosphere and the amazing food, Chase's Restaurant is offering a full a la carte menu to ensure you have a fantastic night out. Chips, wedges, through to classics like burgers, fish and chips, schnitties and steaks. Yum! Grab the whole family and get to the park to watch those dogs go. Every Thursday night at Angle Park Greyhounds.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi. This is Rowey's Sports Show.
24 minutes to 5. No Stephen Rowe. Mark Bigley sitting in the chair. Rowey back on Monday. Shortly we'll speak to an author of a new book. Big's footy season not far away on an AFL front, which means that the amateurs in the Country League also. We're going to talk about some of the greats of South Australian country footy. And fingers crossed, calls are in with John Olsen from the Adelaide Crows to join us just after 5:30. Get the club's official response on the news about Brompton. A couple of people want to speak about that, including Robert at Brighton.
Good afternoon. I'm pretty incensed about this decision. It's another inept, weak, gutless decision made by a state government that whenever the Crows are concerned, they take their hands off. The Crows had to fight the Adelaide City Council over the Aquatic Centre, and the Premier sat on his hands and didn't offer one word of solace. This is another indication where there's been a preference to a Victorian developer with a profit motive, when one of the biggest significant economic institution in this state, in a sports sense, generates more revenue than this fly-by-night developer. How many people do you think are employed as a result of hospitality in Adelaide Oval and everything else that the Crows are involved in? The Treasurer comes out with a comment and says 200 jobs over 10 years. There'd be more than 200 jobs week by week get a job directly as a result of the Crows and Adelaide Oval.
But Robert, those jobs are still there. These are incremental ones, and I think he ended up saying there's 1,000 jobs at the end of it, the ongoing. It's hard.
Listen, this is a one-off. You can play with figures and say it's 200 jobs over 10 years. I would say that's a pretty poor construction time if it's going to take you 10 years to get to do what they're doing. It is purely. I'll put another question to you. Do you seriously think a Victorian government would entertain and award a tender to a South Australian developer where there was a direct AFL football team involved?
Robert, Adelaide had a partner in this, and guess what? Robert, their partner, this is the Adelaide Footy Club, had a Victorian company as their partner. So even if Adelaide did win it, they had a Victorian development company as a partner.
What's wrong with South Australians supporting South Australian endeavour? When is this ever going to happen to this state?
Well, in the end, it's economy of scale. All these companies that are doing these developments, which are hundreds of millions of dollar developments, I'm just guessing because I don't know, but I'm guessing that this is a tender process and they look at all the tenders and which ones come in. It's not a political thing. It's done by the public service, which are meant to be apolitical. So I hear your passion, Robert, but at the same time, Adelaide were always going to have about 40 to 50% green space. Now, if this is going to be a development that's done on pure development, the numbers were always going to be hard for it to stack up for Adelaide if you're looking to get a return back.
Also, look at the aesthetics of it. So you've got Rob Lucas there. How would he explain to constituents if all of a sudden he decides to go with his mate of 40 years for a job, Bix, that's going to make less money and create no jobs, as opposed to this, which will create 1,000 post-build?
Look, once again, he had to have some arm's length. He got a recommendation from a board, which he took up. Steve is at Hackham. G'day, Steve.
Yeah, g'day, Mark. People forget, I'm not a Crows supporter, but people forget Rob Lucas is a one-eyed Crows man too. He hates Port Adelaide, so you would have thought that he probably, if he had the final decision, he would have given it to the Crows.
No, well, I think we can trust him enough to suggest that he's actually acting in the best interests of South Australia first and foremost.
Now, Mark, I've got a couple of options for the Crows.
Yes.
Torrens Island or Bolivar. Torrens Island or Bolivar. No one will want to go to Bolivar. It's a bit smelly out there.
I thought Torrens Island would have been perfect for the power.
Yeah, well, yeah, good comeback, Mark. Good comeback. Okay, mate.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh, just a little nice one from the baseline from you,
I didn't
Bix.
mind Bolivar. That was predictable, but anyway, that's the way it's going to go. But
Poor old Bolivar cops about it. Not a bad spot, Bolivar.
The White Horse Inn, I think, is
Yeah,
it Bolivar?
that's right.
Past
Nice
that for the
on the
regular.
way through.
And of course, this is Adelaide. It wasn't all in on. Well, when I say it wasn't all in, there was a plan in place in case this result happened, and that plan happens to be the Thebbett Noble. And I think people that have seen what he's planned, and you heard the enthusiasm that City of West Torrens Mayor John Coxon spoke with. I've seen some rough casts of what it's going to look like, and it does look absolutely fantastic. So if you've got a blank canvas and you've got the money to build something world-class, they'll do a really good job, and Adelaide will finally be able to call somewhere home.
Take your red, blue and yellow glasses off.
Mhm.
It's about jobs and money. Simple. And the Treasurer is not beholden to the AFL or to AFL clubs. He does the best for the state. And that's why they've rubber stamped this, as much as people may agree or disagree. You can have your say, 8223 0000. More calls, SMS and email on that very shortly. Now, books hit the desk, Bix, and we get excited when good footy
Sure
books
do.
come around. Particularly when your name gets mentioned in there. You forgot to bring it. It's on the offer. Sam will run out and grab it for you. Peter Lyons is the author of a new book called South Australian Country Footy Digest Goal Kickers. He joins us. Peter, thanks for your time.
Hello, Leith. Hi, Bex.
How are you, Peter? Now, firstly, can I just say congratulations. It's a great book. So many of our legends are from the country, and they are the lifeblood of many communities. And for someone to actually go to the effort and use all their energy to create what is a magnificent document that just records some of the great players in history, I say congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. These are probably guys that are probably unsung heroes of country football. They, some of them had a dabble at league football, but I think circumstances where they're farmers, they're a long way from the city. It's not practical for them to make a career of it down there.
How long did it take to put together?
This one probably took about 4 years. A lot of the stuff I already had from previous books, but from previous books, this struck up a bit of interest at who'd kicked the most goals in South Australian country football history. So I worked a bit deeper on it and basically come up with a book.
Some of the city people, Peter, won't know necessarily some of the names, but reel through some of these legends and sort of figures of goals, the people we're talking about.
Well, Chris Prime is the leading goal kicker in South Australian country football by a fair way. People know him from playing for Norwood back in the early 90s, I think it was. He only spent 3 years down there, and he's a farmer. It's life on the land.
So just on that, Peter, 2,060 goals. Like we talk about Tony Lockett, 1,300, 2,060 for Chris Prime.
Yeah, and at 50 years of age, there's an asterisk next to that because I don't know if he's finished yet or not.
I think he is. I think he's still going. I'll stand corrected, but I think he's still going.
He missed a year with COVID, and then the start of this year, I had him in bold print, and he's kicked 6 in the first game of the year. So you don't know what he's up to. He's still a fit bloke, he's a big bloke, and he's still a pretty handy footballer.
The beauty of a book like this is you can find out all about bush legends. People who don't necessarily live in the country or know people in the country will probably know someone in this book. Bix, of course, is the king of Port Pirie, as we know. The Bickley family, Peter, gets a little mention in this book.
Yeah, David Bickley's in there, leading goal kicker about early 90s.
1991.
Considering started fullback that year, I think, so halfback or fullback that year.
Yeah, I did read the little write-up. He moved to full forward at the end of round 5 and kicked 75 goals in the last 13 rounds. I'm just trying to find it quickly because you weren't all that complimentary to me in there.
Well, I have it here, Bix. I can read it for you. Peter, did you write these or did somebody from the Pirie area send it in?
It could be a typo.
All right. David Bickley was taller than his more famous brother Mark, so at this stage Bix is pretty happy with that. He got a little bit of up and about in the office. But good judges considered David a more skillful player.
That was the general feedback I got.
Yeah, it probably wasn't far away. Look, my brother was unlucky because he was a prolific junior football. I think he kicked over 150 goals in his final year of under-18s. When I say final year, I think he was only 16 at the time. Kicked 27 goals in a match. But when he got up into the A grade, there was a bloke called Larry Rawlins, who is on this list. I think Larry kicked over 600 goals, who was playing full forward and was pretty well set. So my brother got shipped down back and ended up being full back for about the first 4 or 5 years of his career.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Happened to me as well. When you're 14 and you're 5'8", you're the big full forward. But when you get into A grade and you're still only 5'8", you're playing on the half forward flanker on the ball.
Yeah. Can I just say a couple of really good things you've done in here? So you've got the top 200 all-time leading goal kickers. So as you mentioned, Chris Prime with 2,060. You got Wayne, is it Peach or Pake?
Pake.
Yeah, okay. 1,568.
1,500 goals.
Timsy, Michael Timms, 1,492. Jeff James, 1,460. We can go through all of them. So that is an awesome setup just in itself. Once again, I know a couple of names in there. Didn't mind David Hams, 858 goals for Wollonga. That's not bad. He came in at number 51 on the list. I mentioned Larry Rawlins. Larry kicked 666 goals, which was quite an amazing effort at Solly's from 1976 through to 1990. He's 108 on the list. But then you've also got another table which shows who kicked the most goals in a game, which is another phenomenal effort, which is great reading. Quinton Graham from Gumaraka kicked 40 goals in a match.
Yeah, Quinton Graham used to play for Centrals, and I think he was coaching them at the time, and I think he was sitting about 62 goals, and he said, if we have a good day, I reckon I'll get close to 100. And I think he finished the day on about 115 or something like that. But that's while it's a great effort, it probably says a bit about who they were up against at that stage. And through the book, if you look through those big scores, a lot of them are scored against the same teams. Back when Ross Gibbs was kicking a lot of goals, it was against the same team. And there's a few out in Adelaide Plains that kick big scores again against the same team. Yeah,
just looking at Gibbsy.
Pity, but it's a record, don't you?
Yeah, Gibbsy kicked 32 in one game, 30 in another, 30 in another. Slide down the list a bit further, 24 in another game.
In 3 games.
He's done quite well.
So Peter, leading question for you before we let you go. Is there one league that just stands out to you, that you just look at the great goal kickers of country footy? I'm thinking maybe sort of 4 hours southeast of here.
You're trying about mid-southeast, aren't you?
There you go, Pete. Put it in there.
Yeah, they're up there. And you want me to say Mount Burr as well?
Love you to just mention it. So we had a bloke who kicked 700 from the middle. Imagine if he was full forward.
You're probably the best goal kicker left when he was a kid to go and play league football.
Yeah, Johnny Sedlin.
Could have been a great full forward down there.
Where do people get their hands on it, Peter?
Rundle Place News Agency in the city is your best option there. And I've probably got it in about 20 outlets around the state in major towns around the state. But I've got a Facebook page, South Australian Country Football Digest. If you have a look on there, there's a list of about 22 places now where the book's on sale.
Beautiful. Continued success with it. Well done. It's great to have a record of that. I mean, Bix and I are biased because we love our country footy, but everyone, it's a fun read. And Bix, you put it down, then you pick it up again, then you put it down, you pick it up again. I know
amazing,
this person, Tony Modra's in there somewhere.
Yeah, so's his brother. Rick's in there.
It's fantastic. Congratulations on the work, Peter.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So that's Peter Lyons. The book is called Local Footy Legends, South Australian Country Football Digest Goal Kickers. Timsy down the bottom right-hand corner there. Bix just kicked a lazy 1,500 goals.
As I said, unless people like Peter get off their backside and record all this and put it in, it's in one spot now, and it's just it's a great ready reckoning to have, and I'm sure you'll be able to settle a lot of arguments with this about who did what. And yeah, as you get older, your memory sometimes plays tricks on you. You think you're a bit better than what you were, but the numbers don't lie, as Cornsey says, and there's some great numbers in there.
David Bickley was taller than his more famous brother Mark, but good judges considered David a more skillful player. I'd be onto your lawyers, Bix. I'm not happy with that. Kicked 150 goals in senior college, your brother.
Yep. Yeah, so There you go. But, skill's not everything, Leith.
That's right. That is right. Get the book. It's a good read. We're going to take a short break. We'll check the traffic on the other side. And Jade Sheedy, not too far away. Woodville West Torrens have been up in the Northern Territory playing, and some good news for Jack Hayes.
Christian Canute from Roasted Wines speaks with cricketing legend Dennis Lilly.
Dennis, congratulations, mate. You've just been elevated to legend status in the Sport Australia Hall of Fame. How does it feel to be a living legend? And do legends still drink wine?
Yeah, they drink more, of course. Better leave an order with you right now.
I've got a pen here, mate. You can fill out the form anytime you want.
Rusden Wines, home of the Black Gut Shiraz. rusdenwines.com.au.
Steinborner certified cars in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare has always been well worth a trip. And even more so now with their 38th birthday sale. To celebrate, Steinborner has scoop purchased SA's biggest range of vehicles, SUVs and 4x4s and ripped $500,000 off normal prices across the range. Plus, great deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford and Mitsubishis. Make the trip to one of Steinborner's 8 dealerships or view the whole range at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner certified cars. It's well worth the trip.
In 4 days, Survivor begins.
Survivor's ready!
Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water starts in 4 days on 10.
Can't wait.
When My Living Outdoors say they take care of everything on your decking, veranda or pergola project, they mean it. Okay, maybe not who gets the last snag on the barbie or which outdoor lounge you go with, but everything from design and council approval to construction. At My Living Outdoors, good enough, well, it just doesn't cut it. This attention to detail creates decks, verandas and pergolas that'll be loved for a lifetime. Adelaide's top tradies love working with My Living Outdoors because they're treated with the utmost respect and they know everything's laid out from design and council approval to delivery. Happy tradies care more, so they'll give your new deck, your pergola, your carport or veranda the attention and care that it deserves. Visit mylivingoutdoors.com.au and take advantage of their New Year sale. Right now they're offering free installation on any home improvement project. But hurry, this offer ends January 31.
Join us for one last summer of blockbuster movies at the drive-in. Get your choc top and popcorn and settle in with family and friends for a season of movies to remember. Pack the family into the car for Clifford the Big Red Dog, Sing 2 and the Addams Family 2. Or for that final adventure at the drive-in, it has to be Spider-Man No Way Home, The Matrix Resurrections and Ghostbusters Afterlife. Plus, there's classics and old faves for memories that remain. For tickets and session times, download the new Wallace app or visit wallace.com.au.
Hi, I'm Peter Berkowitz from Berkowitz Furniture. Our summer stock take sale is on now and you'll save up to 40%. That's right, save on our comfortable leather sofas, fabric sofas and sofa beds, dining tables and recliners, including our Australian-made collection. Be part of our massive summer stock take sale and save up to 40%. At Berkowitz, we're not just a furniture store, we're a furniture family. In-store or online.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi. This is Rowey's Sports Show.
7 minutes to 5. No Stephen Rowe. Mark Bickley sitting in the chair this week and last. We'll speak to Jade Sheedy in just 1 second. First, here's what's happening on the roads. You can get amazing deals on Mitsubishi and used cars at Wayville Mitsubishi and Southern Mitsubishi. They're driven by Australian Motors.
Around St Peters and North Adelaide at the moment, Park Terrace at Melbourne Road, Robe Terrace at Walkerville Terrace and Paynham Road at Westminster Street. Take care around there. Ingle Farm got some large potholes, Montague Road near Red Hill Road after that earlier weather. Hackham, Main South Road near River Road, speeds out of 40 k's. And we've got Cameras Main North Road, Jeps Cross and Old Port Road at Royal Park. Major works are affecting the South Eastern Freeway intersection with Cross, Port Rush and Glen Osmond roads. Expect delays. Visit dit.sa.gov.au/SE Freeway. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
So if you think it's a bit hot and sweaty at the moment here in Adelaide, big spare a thought for our next guest. They've just come back from the NT, coach of the Woodville West Torrens Footy Club, Jade Sheedy. Welcome, Shades.
Boys, how are we?
Yeah, very well. How are you, by the way? Really happy with how the trip went?
Yeah, it was great, Vix. Yeah, I think it's good to get away as a group and as a whole footy club, really. Like the girls and boys both went up and some volunteers and support staff. And I guess at a footy club, you see each other every couple of hours and you sort of blow in and blow out. But it was good to spend sort of 48 hours together and, room together and just, spend more quality time with each other and probably have conversation with people that you don't get to spend a lot of time with sometimes. So it's great.
Yeah, look, it's a big exercise, isn't it? When you mention the amount of people that get up there and you're going up there for 2 days, it's a long way to go. But you're right, there are a lot of things you can get out of it. Not to mention the footy, you get an opportunity to play against some really good opposition.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the key part to the whole trip, was to actually get up and play a game in January, which the boys are pretty happy. They didn't have to keep flogging and run around the oval, so it breaks up their pre-season a little bit and gives us a real good look at some kids that we took up there and see how we're tracking fitness-wise. Obviously, the NTFL I think they're 3/4 of the way through their year, and we're sort of early in our pre-season, so it was a good hit out for us.
Well, give us a couple of names who you had the opportunity to look at and who did some nice things.
Yeah, I guess some players, not necessarily more important roles, but young Kai Pudney, who's predominantly played in a wing, he went more inside for us. Jack Buck, who's a small defender, played some terrific footy down back for us, and he hasn't played league footy. Lockie Hoyle on a wing's the same. He hasn't played league footy and got some time through the middle of the ground. And Sam Nichols, a young kid up from the under-18s, played as a small forward for us, and he hasn't played league footy either. And so it was good to be able to give kids a go that haven't tasted league footy yet, because the game was, even talking to a few of the senior blokes that we did take up, they said it was as quick a game as they've played in. So it gives them kids a good look of what league footy looks like. Now,
we've seen and read some clubs have had some loss of personnel over the break from last year. How are you looking coming into 2022?
Yeah, we've lost a few. Obviously, Paddy Graffita's retired, and also Angus Poole's retired and Ben Junkfer. So, especially with Pooley and Goof, they're two staples of the footy club that have been there for, Goof's played 220 games and Pooley's played 160 games, and both two-time premiership players. Well, Goof's actually won 3, and good leaders around the place. So they're significant holes in our footy club that we need to fill. But yeah, we feel, I guess, with the growth of the group from the last couple of years, the reserves won a premiership 2 years ago, the 18s won one last year, and the league having some success, but our group's still really strong. And then we've added Mitch DeVal, Jared Allman back to the footy club, and Connor Ballenden off Brisbane Lions list as a key forward. So yeah, we feel that we're building our list still pretty well, and hopefully it looks good for this year.
Jack Hayes, it's bittersweet for you. I'm guessing you're loving the opportunity that he finally gets a chance to have a crack at AFL level with St Kilda after being added to their list, but he is very, very difficult to replace.
He is, and yeah, I guess for us, the footy club, I guess if you're selfish, it's bittersweet, and we all want to win. But I think you got to put the kid first, and I guess if he was your son, that's what you want him to do. So I think he deserves an opportunity, and no one's probably done what he's done the last 3 or 4 years in terms of single-handedly dominate state league footy like he has. So it's a great story for someone that's 25, 26 and persevered, and now gets an opportunity, and we hope he does really well. And yeah, I guess it's been handy recruiting Connor Ballenden now. He's a 200-centimetre key forward slash ruck, I guess similar role to what Jack plays. He's a bit bigger than Jack, but won Brisbane Lions VFL Best and Fairest last year. So a good state league player, and it's lucky that we picked up him now, knowing that Jack's gone to help out with our list.
Sheeds, before we let you go, appreciate your time. People love the romance of footy. Connor McLeod, Bungee's son, plays for you guys, went up to Darwin, played on the oval that the old man would have started at and become a superstar at. How's he going?
Yeah, really good. He's progressing nicely. I think we'll definitely see some league footy out of Connor at times this year for sure. He's not that long into footy. He was a late developer and only started playing late. But yeah, it was a good weekend for the McLeod family, really. Like Connor and Andrew both designed the Indigenous guernsey that we wore up in the NT against the NTFL. So yeah, I think Connor was pretty pumped to get up there and wear that guernsey. And yeah, obviously with the history of his dad playing on that ground as well.
He had an injury-interrupted year last year, which plagued him and didn't give him a lot of consistency. But Jade, you've had an amazing induction into SANFL coaching, and how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep reigniting these guys to back up and crack in again?
I think player turnover is part of it, Bix. I think just obviously if you got the same list and you keep doing the same things, players do get bored. That's for sure. But we just try to keep adding to our game and try and keep getting better each year and add different elements to our game. I guess our core values of how we want to play and what we want to look like on and off the field stay the same. But yeah, we just try and get better each year and add different elements to our game to try and make us better. And I guess you've got to introduce new training drills and new ways to try and do the same thing, I guess, to some extent, and that's how you've got to try and keep the players fresh.
Well, Bix walks around as a back-to-back, Jade. You can just trump that. Just a little back-to-back-to-back. If you can just sneak that one in there, that would be nice. Appreciate your time.
He's got me covered.
No, don't be silly.
No worries, boys. Thanks for having me.
Have a great pre-season. Jade Sheedy, coach of the Eagles. They've been up in the NT. Bit of a bonding session, Bix. Get some runs under the belt too. Play the NT sides who are
look, if
about.
Anyone who's ever done a pre-season, you want to be playing footy rather than running around the oval. So to get up there, like you say, really humid. I'm sure the boys and girls sweated it out, and they played against really good opposition from all reports. And yeah, it would have been an enjoyable time. So Jade Sheedy, he's done remarkably well. Came in as a rookie SANFL coach after a really decorated sort of amateur coaching career, and then has just gone from strength to strength, and continues on and looking for 3 out of 3.
It's been superb. Jason Gillespie's going to join us on the other side of the news.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers overnight and a possible storm, heading for 27 tomorrow. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig. There's been another drop in local COVID case numbers to 1,953, but 13 more people have died. And a woman has been charged with deception, accused of paying a vulnerable person to receive a COVID vaccine in her name. It's alleged the 52-year-old posed as their carer at a Mount Barker vaccination clinic. She'll face court in March. Premier Stephen Marshall says it should serve as a warning to others.
I think it's very good that the police got onto this. This is completely unacceptable behaviour, but let's see what happens in the court proceedings.
An Australia's expert panel on immunisation still evaluating potential changes to Australia's vaccination requirements. ATAGI's considering whether a third dose of an injection should be needed to be considered fully vaccinated. Leaders had been hoping for a decision at today's meeting of National Cabinet. The Adelaide Crows say the search for a new headquarters will continue after a Melbourne developer won the race for the former Brompton Gasworks site. Treasurer Rob Lucas says MAB Corporation's been selected to rejuvenate the 6-hectare site. Construction work is set to begin in the second half of this year. He says there were some issues with accessibility with the Crows bid.
One of the challenges for the Crows, whilst there was more open space going to be available, I think it was 40-odd% or whatever it might happen to be, clearly it was going to have to be used by the Crows and for training and for other reasons at various occasions throughout, and it'll have to be fenced as well.
Australia's poised to help fill energy shortages overseas as tensions between Russia and Ukraine threaten supply. More from Nine's Lucy Gray.
Europe is in the grip of an energy crisis with low stocks and high prices affecting supply. Russia currently provides about a third of the continent's natural gas, but it's feared the tap could soon be turned off amid ongoing issues with Ukraine. Federal Resources Minister Keith Pitt says the government will step in if needed.
Australia, of course, stands ready to support its friends and allies.
Labor leader Anthony Albanese is backing the move.
That would be a good thing for the world.
Ukraine's chief diplomat in Australia is optimistic a solution will be found before the situation deteriorates further.
Former TV presenter Andrew O'Keefe has been charged with assaulting a woman in his Sydney unit earlier this week. Police say he punched and kicked the 38-year-old and tried to choke her. He'll face court tomorrow. Lawyers for Prince Andrew are requesting a jury trial in New York in a civil lawsuit brought against him by a woman who's accused him of sexual assault. More from the BBC's Nada Tawfik.
In this legal filing, Prince Andrew denies that he was a close friend of Ghislaine Maxwell's or a frequent guest of Jeffrey Epstein's, though he does admit to staying in his properties. Prince Andrew's lawyers also list nearly a dozen defenses to the claim ahead of any trial. One in particular is called the Doctrine of Unclean Hands, where essentially they argue Ms. Giuffre is barred from suing because she has also faced allegations of wrongful conduct. David Boyes, her lawyer, said the Duke of York was trying to blame the victim and that they looked forward to confronting him in court.
The all-new Kia Sportage is in store at New Spot Kia Salisbury Park. Order now to avoid delays.
For the first time in 42 years, it'll be an All-Australian Grand Slam men's doubles final at Melbourne Park on Saturday night. More from Nine's Shane McGuinness.
Doubles wildcards Nick Kyrgios and Thanasi Kokkinakis have advanced to a maiden doubles final with a 7-6, 6-4 win over third seeds Marcel Groniers and Horatio Zebachos. In front of more than 9,000 fans on Rod Laver Arena, the Aussies had all the answers. Despite Kyrgios becoming animated at times due to the crowd noise, the duo remains settled to close out the match. They'll now meet fellow Aussies Matt Ebden and Max Purcell in Saturday night's final, the pairing defeating second seeds Rajiv Ram and Joe Salisbury, albeit in front of far fewer fans. Meanwhile, newly crowned Australian of the Year Dylan Alcott in his final appearance at Melbourne Park, he's going for an 8th Australian Open title up against second seed Sam Schroeder.
And it's 4-4 in the first set in that match.
This Australian Open tennis update thanks to the super fast charging all-electric Kia EV6.
Jason Gillespie's weighed in on the eventful end to last night's Big Bash game, which saw the Strikers bow out of the finals. The Adelaide coach says he has no issue with the Sixers retiring a batter with one ball remaining, putting their win down to tactics. And the Australian women are 7 for 327 on the opening day of the Ashes Test at Manuka Oval in Canberra. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Complete windscreens, same-day service and best price guaranteed. Proudly South Australian since 1976. Complete windscreens.
Got the lights playing up around St Peters and North Adelaide at the moment. Park Terrace at Melbourne Road, Rowey Terrace at Walkerville Terrace and Payneham Road at Westminster Street. Take care around there. Ingle Farm got some large potholes. Montague Road near Red Hill Road after that earlier weather. Hackham, Main South Road near River Road, speeds out of 40 k's. And we've got Cameras Main North Road, Jeps Cross and Old Port Road at Royal Park. Major works are affecting the southeastern freeway intersection with Cross, Portrush and Glen Osmond roads. Expect delays. Visit dit.sa.gov.au/SE Freeway. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Showers overnight and a possible storm, down to 20 degrees tonight and then 27 tomorrow. Partly cloudy on Saturday, 29, mostly sunny for Sunday, 32 and 33 for Monday. At the moment, 31. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Sudden storms smashed the state. The incredible pictures from across SA. The woman who paid a vulnerable person to get the COVID vaccine for her. The latest in Prince Andrew's legal saga. Why we could be paying more for petrol for longer. And house price surge. The Adelaide suburbs in a property boom. I'm Kate Collins. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
G'day, Alex Carey here. Toyota have been taking families to cricket grounds all over Australia for 50 years. So when Toyota designed the Fortuner, they built it with power, comfort and added safety to get you through the toughest conditions. With Apple CarPlay and a stylish interior, there is plenty of space to keep you comfy and plenty of storage for all the gear. Visit your local Toyota dealer to book a test drive of the adventurous Toyota Fortuner. How's that? Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
How good does beer sound? But as good as it sounds, it's actually the stuff you can't hear that makes this beer a Cooper's. Every drop contains passion and dedication to always use the finest ingredients and best brewing techniques. It's what we've been doing right here in SA for 160 years. And it's this stuff that will always make Cooper's forever original. Roll into Sip and Save and roll out with a Sweet Surf hat. Available now with original Pale Ale 375ml cans.
If you're fitting out a workshop, your shed or rooms around the home with extra storage, forget the flat pack, go Charmin Shelving all the way. Here's the thing we all love about Charmin Shelving. It's all done for you, not flat packed, so you're not going to sit there for hours trying to find the part marked A that's meant to fit into the part marked C, but it won't because the part marked B is missing. We've all done that, and then you can't find the Allen key. Call Charmin Shelving. They'll come out, they'll give you a free measuring quote, and then they'll deliver and assemble it for you. Or if you want to assemble it yourself, they'll give you all the support you need. When it comes to storage solutions, everyone needs a little Charmin in their life. 412 North East Road, Windsor Gardens, charminshelving.com.au, or take a look on Facebook.
Feeling the burn?
Cheapers Chips.
Save cash with Cheapers Chips Hot Buys. Grab Moccona 175-gram instant coffee tins or Hot Buy at $6.99 each. Finish Powerball 110-pack original or lemon only $16.99. Chum 8-kilo dry dog food a scorching $18.99 each. And Party Bag huge 1-kilo assorted confectionery bags a sizzling $6.99 each. Check out this week's catalogue for more Hot Buys in store and online. Save cash and live cheaper with Cheapers Chips Hot Buys now.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. See Australia's best riders battle for supremacy over 9 action-packed days as the Santos Festival of Cycling returns, January 21 to 29. Visit tourdownunder.com.au. FIVEAA's Business Lounge with Leith Forest.
Since COVID, we've seen a shift towards a hybrid model of working from home and in office, and one challenge that businesses face is curating office spaces that encourage spending time back in the office. Today, I'm joined by Tom Clark, the CEO from Workspace. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, Leith.
So what are some of the trends that you've noticed in offices as people are returning back to work?
Clearly, there's a big shift to hub and spoke. It really gives businesses the opportunity to bring employees back to head offices, but also provide them the flexibility to work from satellite offices.
So how does the new model work to create new opportunities for businesses?
New spaces. We need to bring people back to the office in environments where they feel comfortable, that it's enjoyable, there's collaboration, there's innovation, and they can be with their team members and their clients.
And you've got experience over 110 years.
Absolutely. 110 years in 2021, all manufactured here in South Australia.
Thank you for your time, Tom. For modern workspace solutions and to make your space work, go to workspace.com.au.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi. This is Rowey's Sports Show.
Rowey's out with COVID. Mark Bickley sitting in the chair. Rowey returning on Monday. Very shortly we'll give you the chance to take your family along to the Adelaide 36ers, and we'll take more of your calls with your thoughts on the Adelaide Crows not going to Brompton. But it was heartbreak Bix last night for our strikers.
Here we go. Final ball for a spot in the decider. 1 for a super over, 2 for a win. Kerr, he chips it. They're going to go for 2. They should get back. They're going to get home. The Sixers, they're an unbelievable team. They've got half a fit side. They'll play the Scorchers in the decider to try and win 3 in a row. Brilliant game of cricket.
Oh, it was heartbreak. We had pride and we're also flat. The coach, Jason Gillespie, joins us. Diz, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Leith.
Hey, Jason, you must be, as Leith said, proud but disappointed. You've had such a great run over the last 6 or 7 matches, and then for it to fall right on the last ball of the night. How are you feeling this morning?
Yeah, Bix, look, obviously very proud, as you mentioned, very proud of our team on and off the field for everything that we've done this season. We had a slow start to the season. We hit the straps at the right time. But to knock it over the line last night, pretty gut-wrenching, pretty gutted, to be honest. I suppose it was a game that, we felt, putting 167 on the board, while we probably left a few out in the middle, we felt that we were well and truly in the game, and we had the belief that we could defend that, and the reality is we should have actually defended that total. So, yeah, pretty disappointing.
Let's talk about the batting firstly, because I guess at the start when you think Carey, Short, Head, all in single digits, you think, gee whiz, we're going to struggle. But Cobain was great again, but Jonathan Wells, how outstanding was he? And a little cameo at the end by Renshaw.
Yeah, most certainly. Those three guys you mentioned, really stepped up and got the job done for us, got us up to a more than competitive total. But I suppose with your first four batters, three of them, perishing in single-digit scores, it's hard to wrestle that back. And at 3 for 21 at the end of the 4-over power play, it was always going to be a challenge for us to post a 180-plus score. But the lads you mentioned, Cobain, Wells, and Renshaw, got us to what we felt was a very competitive total, and at the end of the day, a total that we should have defended.
You mentioned that a couple of times. Where were you disappointed? What areas? I know there was a drop catch and a missed chance behind the stumps. Any other areas you weren't happy with?
I think those were the areas. I mean, obviously, missing a stumping first ball and a guy goes on to get 90 on. No one means the drop catches, the stumpings, bowl a bad ball. That's part of professional sport, isn't it, Bix? But, it's just at the absolute wrong times. Had we taken our opportunities, we could be having a very different conversation. But obviously, I still maintain, I think we did leave a few runs out there. So it's not one moment in the game. It's just a combination of a number of things that maybe we didn't get right, maybe some decision-making out there. And at the crux with bat and ball, probably it cost us in the end. But look, you just have to applaud our opposition. They found a way to scrape home there.
Hayden Kerr, did you know much about his batting prowess? I certainly didn't.
Oh, we knew he's performed quite well in grade cricket and has scored grade hundreds, second 1100s, things like that. So we knew he could bat. And we heard a whisper before the game that maybe the Sixers were wanting to lengthen their batting order by moving up one of the all-rounders up to the top, pretty much to keep Henrique, Silk and Christian, the backbone of their innings of their batting lineup at 4, 5, 6. So we knew that something was going to happen. We thought it was either going to be Hayden Kerr or Sean Abbott going in at the top, maybe to take advantage of our tactic of bowling Matt Short early. Matt Short's been excellent for us with the ball. He's been brilliant with the bat for us this season, but he's actually done a really good role for us with the ball in the particularly he's bowled a lot of the times. He's bowled 3 overs in the first 10 overs of the innings, and to go at just under 7s, for the tournament, or around 7 runs and over for the tournament, is a great effort. So we knew they were going to target him, but look, Kerr, we missed a couple of chances against him, but look, fair play to him. He played beautifully. You
mentioned Jordan Silk. He was injured in the field. He came back on without a runner and then at the death retired. Did you have any problems with that?
Look, I didn't, Mark, and I know there's been some discussions, some commentary around it. But for me, it's pretty simple when it comes to, playing the game the right way. If you're playing within the laws of the game, I don't have a problem with that. I saw it, as an opposition coach. I saw it as a legitimate tactic. I think I'm surprised it's taken, I suppose, this long in T20 for players to be retired out. A lot of times you see batsmen are batting and they might be 20 off 25 or 30 balls, and you've got a couple of hitters waiting in the sheds going in the last 4 or 5 overs of an innings. So I think that's a progression of our sport. I think in T20 I think we're going to see more of that tactic happen. I think a lot of the debate and the commentary around it was Jordan Silk had a bit of a dodgy hammy. The way I saw it as an opposition coach, they were looking to target the short boundary, and when Silk wasn't on strike, they wanted someone to run between wickets. And look, we can debate it all we want. People talk about the spirit of cricket, the spirit of sport. I've always been a believer, Dick, that if you play whatever sport you play, if you play within the laws of the game, you're actually playing within the spirit of the game. So, because my argument is the spirit of cricket, let's use our sport, the spirit of cricket is debated between states, between countries. Everyone has a different interpretation of what the spirit of a sport looks like and sounds like. I think if you stick to the laws, it removes all the grey areas.
I agree with that.
It was interesting, though, Dizzy, because Adam Gilchrist, I know on the Fox coverage, Mark Waugh, they sort of weren't going that way. They were questioning whether the spirit of the game. The roller coaster leading into that ball, though, I mean, you get Moses Enriques and you think, right, we're in here, then it goes away from you, then you get Dan Christian, then it goes away from you again. Did you think you could get through? Were you nervous? I mean, even Sid's 18th over, you thought, well, we're back in the hunt here. You got a couple of sixes at the wrong time and maybe a contentious wide too, I think, didn't help.
Yeah, I think that over that Sid's bowled, the 18th over, so he had some decisions to make. So he had to work his bowlers out. Sid's normally, we like to bowl, and most teams tend to do it. You tend to bowl your best bowler or your most effective death bowler the 19th over. That tends to be the over that, if they're needing 30 off 2 overs or 25 off 2 overs, and your best bowler bowls the 19th and goes to single digits, it leaves a lot of work for that 20th over, and you just trust whoever you have. And in our case, we use Harry Conway. That 19th over by Henry Thornton, the young seamer, he'll learn a lot from that experience. He was bowling full and straight at the stumps. And when you need more than 2 runs and over, as I was talking to Henry last night, it's a great learning opportunity for him. When teams need more than 2 runs a ball going into the back end of an innings, a way to wrestle back the initiative is to actually hit boundaries, hit 4s and 6s to bring that run rate down. And what's the most effective delivery that can minimise the chance of a batsman getting underneath that and hitting a boundary? And that's probably the Yorker, full and straight. And he did that quite well. We got hit for a couple of 2s and a couple of singles, and then he bowled one into the pitch, a bit of pace off, and that was an opportunity for the batter to get underneath it, went for 6. That's just an execution thing, and possibly maybe in hindsight, he could have made a tactical change and looked to just continue to bowl full and straight. So they're the 1%ers, I suppose, that you can reflect on in a game. But ultimately, I think for a number of there wasn't one thing that in our game last night that cost us the game, so to speak. I think it was just a number of things that happened. You do need a little bit of luck go your way at times, and at the end of the day, the Sixers found a way to get over the line. So full credit to them.
When we look at the tournament as a whole overall, you look at Cobain, you look at Thomas Kelly, Henry Thornton, you mentioned Matt Short had a remarkable tournament as well. There's so many positives that have come out of it, and I think when you look at it, your list looks so much stronger post the season than what it did at the start.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned young Thomas Kelly. He provided an opportunity with obviously Travis Head being away with the Australian side, so he came in as a local replacement player. And I thought young Thomas played very well. I think in an ideal world, he would probably be a little bit more suited, a little bit higher in the order, maybe in the top 4, probably 3 or 4, maybe 5. But the opportunity for him was presented at 6 and 7. He'll certainly learn a lot. Has learnt a lot from this season, and he's been put in situations that he probably hasn't been used to, hasn't done a lot of at grade level and second level. So, certainly being thrown in the deep end, so to speak, in BBL cricket. And I thought he did a great job for a young player in his first season of BBL. He'll only get better and learn from that. You mentioned Ian Cobain. I thought he was fantastic as a late replacement overseas. It just shows that experienced, calm head. He's played 130-odd games of T20 cricket, and that showed in the way he went about it. Didn't panic if he had to absorb a few dot balls or go for a few singles. He was 10 off 10, 12 off 12. Didn't panic. Waited for the ball in his zone and played very well. But young Henry Thornton as well, first-year player, showed a lot of positives. So, yeah, a lot of things to be optimistic about going forward for sure.
Absolutely. A lot of positives too. 3 players in the team of the year. Peter Siddle takes the most wickets in the history of the game. One last one. Don't want to finish on a negative, Diz. Just a quick one before we go.
Why are we going to finish on a negative?
Because, Diz, the last few games, the last 5, 6, 7 games have been amazing. Is the season too long?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of discussion, Leith, and it's a great question. I quite like the idea and the notion that you play each team home and away. And obviously with the pandemic, we haven't quite had that. We've managed to get the 14 games in the regular season. I think the discussion needs to be around the length of the tournament as opposed to the number of games. I don't actually have a problem, and I think this pandemic and the adjusting and adapting that we've had to do has shown that we can play back-to-back games of cricket. There's no doubt about that. We play 5-day cricket. We play 4-day cricket. We play 50-over cricket. There's no reason why we can't play either 2 T20 games in 1 day or 2 T20 games in 2 days. That's something I think we certainly need to look at. I think Cricket Australia needs to have those discussions with the Australian Cricketers Association because I certainly believe that can happen. I've got no issue with double headers. I think as a sport we need to keep evolving and keep adapting, and I think if we can get the tournament into a slightly narrower window there and we can still get the number of games. We've got squads of 18. So there's no reason why, if we need to, if you're worried about workloads with certain players, there's no reason why, if you're worried about a bowler, for instance, playing 2 games in 2 days, if you've got squad depth, if your list management is right, you can manage those situations. So for me, I think I'm happy with the number of games. I think we can condense the season by at least a week to 10 days for sure.
See, finished on a positive. You're the best. We're shattered that we didn't win. We are shattered, but thanks so much for the ride you took us on the last, month or so. Been amazing. So good luck for next season, Diz.
Thanks very much for your support, guys. Appreciate it.
There he is, Jason Gillespie, coach of the Strikers. What a run, Biggs. First loss for Cobain in his Strikers career last night.
It was pretty amazing, though. One win from their first 8 games. It wasn't going swimmingly. But the one thing Jason Gillespie said all the way through, and you have to give him some credit for that, is the belief is growing. We still believe we can do this. They were still getting the bonus points, which ended up being the thing that carried them into the finals, and then they hit their form at the right time of the year. So full credit to Jason. Let's hope that momentum somehow carries over into the longer form of the game once we get back into that.
And lucky not to be there.
In 2022, 5AA is inviting you into the studio every afternoon. That's right, you can now log into the 5AA live stream from 3 till 6 p.m. each weekday. To watch, simply head to the 5AA live stream on Facebook, YouTube or at 5AA.com.au and see what everyone's talking about. The 5AA live stream, now each afternoon with Jade Robran, followed by Rowey's Sport Show.
In 4 days, Survivor begins.
Survivor's ready!
Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water starts in 4 days on 10.
Can't wait.
TVs,
Fridges, mobiles,
treadmills,
dryers,
laptops,
heaters, speakers.
Wanted?
Don't wait.
Snaffle it now.
Snaffle is the easy and affordable way to get what you want now. Snaffle has all the latest products from the biggest and best brands, all available to you for bite-sized payments. One subscription, one wallet, hundreds of products. So if you want it, don't wait. Go to snaffle.com.au.
Snaffle it now.
T's and C's and letting criteria apply. Walker Stores Proprietary Limited, Australian Credit Licence 393023.
Get back on the road in the all-new Toyota Hilux at Jarvis Toyota. It's packed full of intelligent safety features, plus Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. Rediscover the road in the all-new Toyota Hilux at Jarvis Toyota.
You've selected your block up on the Yorke Peninsula, and now you just want to be there every weekend. Selector Homes have been building transportable homes for over 25 years. They have a huge range of designs, and importantly, their team really listen and are totally flexible with design options. You're not only selecting a fixed price with no hidden costs, you're selecting the best weekends ever. Selector Homes and Building Solutions Display Village, Port Wakefield Road, Burton. Visit selectorhomes.com.au.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Now isn't the time to go into holiday mode if you're thinking of selling your home. The market's hot and the opportunity to achieve a premium price has rarely been stronger. To learn what your home could be worth, go to toop.com.au.
The last 2 years have seen our country change, and litter in the environment is at an all-time high. Will you step up on Clean Up Australia Day? And if not you, who? And if not then, when? Join hundreds of thousands of Aussies and show you care on Clean Up Australia Day, Sunday the 6th of March. Register today at cleanup.org.au to receive your free kit. That's cleanup.org.au.
There was more heroes in plain clothing than there was in uniform.
A fire inside. Streaming on 9 Now. Made possible by NRMA Insurance.
Does your retirement mean buying that special car you always wanted, going on lots of holidays, or dining out whenever you want? What do you have to do now to make it happen then? Retire in 5 is a retirement plan built by MBA Financial Strategists. It'll show you where your wealth needs to be in 5 years and what you need to do today to make that happen. Start with a free consultation with MBA Financial Strategists. Retireinfive.com.au. See website for T's and C's.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi. This is Rowey's Sports Show.
28 minutes after 5, John Olsen from the Adelaide Crows to join us just after the 5:30 news headlines with Kendall. Mark Bickley sitting in for Stephen Rowe. If you'd like to take your family, we've got a VIP family pass up for grabs. The 36 is hosting Melbourne United Sunday, this coming Sunday the 30th of January. Tip-off at 1 p.m. if you'd like to go. First caller through, 8223 0055. See if CJ can get the Sixers back on track, and if you'd like to shoot to win $1,000 at halftime and a game day experience for you and 7 mates, just register now, mymoneyhouse.com.au/36ers. First caller through gets the family pass. What are you seeing, Bix, on the tennis?
Let's have a look. Alcott is taking on Schroeder. That's in the final of the men's quad singles. Dylan Alcott, I must say, it's been an amazing game. It's 5-all in the first set and juice. Couldn't be any closer. But at 4-all, they had a 12-minute game and there was 9 juices in it. Alcott finally won it, then Schroeder's just held serve. So this is an epic battle at this stage. Like I said, it's been going for, I think it's just under an hour, and we're locked at juice 5 apiece. Earlier on today, great news for Aussie tennis fans, Thanasi Kokkinakis and Nick Kyrgios. They won through to the final of the men's doubles. And guess what? They're meeting another Aussie pair, Max Purcell and Matt Ebden. So we are guaranteed of having a Grand Slam champion in the men's doubles, which is great, and will take place just after Ash Barty, if she is good enough to get through. So Ash Barty plays Madison Keys. That's in the semi-final tonight. She wins. She goes on to play the final on Saturday. Of course, on the back of that, straight after that will be the men's doubles final. So potentially 2 Australian Grand Slam winners on the same day.
Big slam for the Aussies. We love that. 5:30 headlines next. John Olsen from the Crows next.
5AA Breakfast.
The change to our work from home guidelines kicks off today. The Marshall government is going to be the first government in Australia to encourage workers back into the CBD. I reckon the message to business has to be, on this issue, patient heal thyself.
Informing Adelaide.
We know of many, many businesses around town telling their workforce, you're not coming into the office at all.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA. To stand the test of time, you need to be tough, made of the good stuff. You need style and tons of character, just like a Playford paver. Playford Pavers, one of the few companies that still make their own pavers for driveways, outdoor entertaining areas or paths in a great range of colours and textures. And because Playford Pavers make their own, you'll always pay less. Visit playfordpavers.com.au. playfordpavers.com.au. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
I'm Kendall Brettig. A kayak has been found washed up on the shore at the Rapid Bay area, but there's no sign of the owner. National Cabinet has decided against expanding Australia's list of essential workers at today's meeting. There's also been no change to vaccination requirements. The Adelaide Crows' bid to make their new headquarters at the old Brompton Gasworks site has been dealt a blow. They're now eyeing Theberton Oval. And Dylan Alcott's facing an epic battle in the quad wheelchair final. It's 5-all in the first set. Later tonight, Ash Barty will take on Madison Keys for a place in the Australian Open women's final. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens repair it on the spot. spot, $75. Complete windscreens.com.au.
At Parafield, got a two-car crash, Kings Road near Main North Road. That's outside the OTR. Got lights pulling up around St Peters in North Adelaide, Park Terrace at Melbourne Road, Robe Terrace at Walkerville Terrace, and Paynham Road at Westminster Street. Hackham got works happening there. Speeds reduced down to 40 k's on Old Main South Road. And look out for cameras Eastern Parade Gilman and Grand Junction Road at Jeps Cross. At OTR, you can pay for your fuel quickly and easily with the OTR app. Save time next time you fill up. App, pump, go. Download the OTR app today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Showers overnight and a possible storm heading for 27 tomorrow. At the moment, 30. More news at 6 o'clock and as it happens on 5AA.
This is Brad. Brad loves his aircon set to a frosty 16 degrees. But Brad has a problem. He gets the gilts having it on all day. Well, Brad, save your gilts for giving the family frostbite because NRG Solar gives you electricity guilt-free. Just guilt-free cold air all day long.
Electricity guilt-free with NRG.
Maybe I'll sing next time, Brad. NRGsolar.com.au.
The first call you should make if there's been any damage to your caravan, camper or van shouldn't be to your insurance company. It should be to Dave Benson Caravans Insurance Specialists. We'll take care of the whole process so you don't have to stress. So if you have an accident and need repairs, get in touch with us at Dave Benson Caravans and we'll take care of the rest. Search Dave Benson Caravans or visit us on Grand Junction Road, Kilburn. Fast, prompt, professional, competitive.
What's in a label? Everything. When you consider a beer brand, a liquor bottle's unique shape or any iconic wine label, it must be instantly recognisable and give you confidence in your choice. For one family-owned liquor company, their name is their label. FIVEAA. FIVEAA is South Australia's leading fine wine and liquor store. When you see their label, you know you're choosing 45 years of experience and dedicated customer service. FIVEAA, your local independent SA family liquor stores.
Rowey, big name in real estate, but also the biggest name in business broking. What makes us big? Our people, like Brett Buckley and his team. MBA, lecturer, and multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year. Brett doesn't just read a P&L, he feels it. If you're selling or expanding your business, Brett can take your business apart and find you more money. And we're not talking small change. Go on, touch base with Brett. Search Rowey Business Sales SA.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi. This is Rowey's Sports Show.
No Stephen Rowe with protocols. He'll be back on Monday. Mark Bigley sitting in the chair, 25 minutes to 6 today. The preferred proponent was announced for the acquisition, the remediation and the development of the gasworks site at Bowden. It was not the Adelaide Crows, or Brompton rather. Chairman John Olsen joins us. John, thank you so much for your time.
Good to be with you.
Hey, John, what was your emotion when you heard the decision today that you weren't successful?
Disappointed. We put a lot of effort into focusing on outcomes at the Brompton site that met our members' and fans' requirements in a facility for the Adelaide Football Club, whilst also looking after the community of Bowden Brompton and outcomes in their long-term interest. During this whole process, we always kept Theberton and Brompton as in tandem, looking at both sites. So we'll now, this decision has been made, focus on Theberton going forward.
Just going back to Brompton, final question. Were you comfortable with the process that you went through?
Yeah, it took a long time, a lot longer than I thought it could or would or should. However, it is what it is, and the decision's been made, a bump in the road, so we'll turn our attention and focus on delivering for the fans and members of the Adelaide Football Club an intergenerational facility that meets the need of our playing group. We've got 3 teams now, where the facility at West Lakes was built for 1 team, and to ensure that we are able to engage with our members and fans, build a facility that meets their interests as well. And so throughout this process, protracted as it has been, we've been talking constantly with Theberton as well as putting in the proposal for Brompton.
How quickly can you start to get the wheels rolling on Thebarton? How far advanced are you?
Well, we've done a lot of work over the last 9 or 12 months with SAMFL and with the City of West Torrens, who are particularly keen to attract us to Thebarton Oval, and we've been really appreciative of their proactive stance. The real difference between the two sites was more about Brompton being freehold and Thebarton being leasehold. And our multi-assessment criteria only had several points difference between both sites. So a lot of work has already been done. We need to negotiate further with both the City of West Torrens, and that will start on Monday, and also with SAMFL and their lease as it currently stands related to Thebarton Oval.
So clearly now all your eggs go into the Thebarton basket. There's no opportunity or no thought about maybe going back and asking about the Aquatic Centre and seeing if they're still comfortable with their decision there, the Adelaide City Council?
Well, we're pretty clear what the Adelaide City Council thought of our involvement anywhere near the parklands, and I don't think anything has changed, at least not to my information. Anything has changed in the near term. Look, if some other site came available, then of course, with due diligence, proper governance, we would have a look at it. But we have been down the track well with City of West Torrens. A lot of work has been done. And in fact, you talk about the North Adelaide site, the Aquatic Centre. A lot of the work that was done on that site, we were able to transfer to Brompton with amendments to the new site. And we have also got, for example, drawings that we've prepared already as it relates to Thebarton Oval. We did both sites in tandem, and now we'll pursue that and hopefully be able to work through the next few months and negotiate an agreement that's acceptable to all parties.
John Olsen, Adelaide Footy Club Chairman, joining us. John, in terms of best case scenario, if let's just talk about the negotiations with the West Torrens Council, let's say that goes really well, how quickly can you move forward, and how quickly can the Adelaide footy fans, or how long will it be before they're in a new facility?
We had set a target date as it relates to Bowden Brompton at the end of 2024 or the start of 2025. We would still want to try and meet that target timeline. That will depend on our capacity to reach agreement with the various interests that are based at Thebarton Oval. But as I said, we've had a lot of discussions with both SAMFL and the Council over the course of the last 8 or 9 months. Obviously, further discussions have got to take place. A lot of issues have got to be ironed out, but we'll progress that now, and we'll still try and keep that target in place, but that will depend on the speed of the discussions and the negotiations with other parties.
And of course, we know the South Road upgrade and the tunnel is going to be in play for a little while going forward. That doesn't affect your long-term decision-making, I wouldn't think?
Not the long term. That does in the short term, because the King's Reserve, which would be where the second oval would be put in place at Thebarton Oval, will be used for soil out of the tunnels whilst they're putting in place those tunnels. But once that has been completed, that area opens up for a second oval at Thebarton Oval, which is an advantage to have a second oval, and given the usage that's likely to emerge with the Adelaide Football Club, its 3 teams in SAMFL, a second oval is really required. And that's, of course, an advancement over Brompton that had 1 oval and an area the size of a soccer pitch for training purposes, additional training purposes.
So, John, Westlakes is definitely done and dusted. You've put a fork in it, it's cooked. You're not staying there whatsoever.
We could stay at Westlakes until 2048. But it was a facility that was built for 1 footy team. We now have 3, so we've outgrown it, and given the development that's taken place around the precinct, we really do need to move to a new home that meets our requirements over the next 30 to 50 years. And that is what we've got our focus on. We will take our time in the new development and negotiate with the City of West Torrens, and hopefully still be able to meet that timeline of 2024-25. But it's not as if we've got to move out of Westlake tomorrow.
How does the funding model change now that it's not Bowden Brompton, it's now Thebarton?
It changes to our advantage in the context that at Bowden Brompton there was a significant environmental remediation of the site, whereas that doesn't quite apply at Thebarton, and so the cost at Thebarton would be marginally less than the Bowden Brompton site. But then we weighed, for example, freehold over leasehold in the equation. So Thebarton will meet and can meet our requirements that we put down for the club's long-term future.
John, will those plans be made public? I live in that area, so I know it really well. I'm trying to work out how it works with the multicultural centre across the road from the brickworks there. You've got the bowling. Will they be made public, those, or is this a Adelaide Crows and a council issue until it's formalised?
Look, that's something for the council to respond to. My understanding is with the tunnels, the bowling club and that community centre, for example, go.
Okay.
And that still leaves space between what will be the South Road precinct and being able to put in place an oval and a facility between the South Road and the oval itself.
Okay. And the pool, will you use that, the Thebarton Aquatic Centre?
No, we would be building into the facility, the pool facility for elite training purposes.
Okay. John, thank you for your time. As you said, you were disappointed it didn't work out at Brompton, but clearly you had this running in tandem, so there was a fallback position should the decision go this way.
Yes, indeed, and we'll focus on that. As I said, a bump in the road, disappointed. But we were always preparing for a second option that you would, if you're up against a property developer, could come in over the top of us. We always knew that that was a risk, and we're a not-for-profit community membership-based organisation, so we don't have the financial resources, and it was really important that we ensured that we didn't shackle the club and its members and its fan base in the future whilst achieving a new facility.
Okay. Your women's team's flying. We're 7 weeks away from the AFL season. No doubt you'd request every Crows fan to really get behind the club financially with memberships, etc.
Yes, absolutely. And Saturday is a key day for us. Big test on Saturday. So as many people and fans and supporters that can get to Norwood Oval for the W game would be appreciated.
John, thanks for your time.
So much.
All good.
There he is, the chairman of the Adelaide Crows, John Olsen. So there it is, Bix.
Mm-hmm.
Thebarton.
That's it. Stamp your flag. That is done
Rubber
now.
stamp it.
Get the documents out. Bit of negotiating about how it looks on lease and who pays for what, but you can almost say that is going to happen. And 2024-25, so end of 2024, start of the 2025 season. So we're talking
2 years, 2.5 years.
2.5 years from here. With I guess the real pain is the disruption that. You know, in 3 years, you don't have the finished product. You don't have the two ovals. You're going to have sounds like a giant pile of dirt. All the dirt they're digging out of the tunnel is going to end up on Kings Reserve, which in 7 or 8 years' time will be a second oval. But in the very short term, it's going to be a big pile of dirt. So Adelaide will just have to share that oval with the other people who are using the oval, whether that be the SANFL side, their women's team and the men's team.
I don't want to be a naysayer, but let's say that things don't work out between the council. By the sounds, and we spoke to the Mayor Michael Coxon earlier.
He's keen as.
They are keen as. So we'll get over the line. But just in case it didn't, because business deals can sometimes go like that. So Linda sends a text message and she says, Bix, we have great facilities at West Lakes. Why would you not just build up, develop the oval more, advance trees around it? More ovals have houses, like in Waverley. And it saves you a lot of money.
Look, I think it's more to do with, John said it, I think he said it twice. You've got 3 teams now and you've got one facility there. Now, to build up. I'm not sure vertically, a 6-story sort of setup's going to work. The pool is antiquated. The weights room is okay. It has some space to grow, but there's still even the administration facilities are quite convoluted, and it's not all in the one spot. So if you have the opportunity to stamp something as your own, centralised location, and purpose build something that you can have for all three teams and the admin, and build a club base, I think that makes sense.
There's also a Carl's Jr. just around the corner, which might be a little too tempting, Bick, so get out of there before the boys and girls have some burgers. John Olsen, our guest from the Adelaide Crows. So all roads leave to Thebarton. If you've got a thought, you're welcome to share it. 8223 0000. Let's check the traffic. Get amazing deals on Mitsubishi and used cars. 2 great locations. Wayville Mitsubishi, Southern Mitsubishi, both driven by Australian Motors.
At Parafield, got a 2-car crash, Kings Road near Main North Road. That's outside the OTR. Toes just arrived there. Hackham, got a broken down truck, Penny's Hill Road, Main South Road. Got lights playing up around St Peters and North Adelaide, Park Terrace at Melbourne Road, and also Robe Terrace at Walkerville Terrace. Got cameras, Everard Avenue, Ashford, and Old Port Road at Royal Park. IKEA family members save $25 when you spend $250 or $50 when you spend $500 at IKEA until January 31. Terms and exclusions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Support your state and earn some extra cash. The state election is held on March 19th this year, and the Electoral Commission of South Australia need over 7,000 South Australians to help deliver democracy on polling day. So, if you could do with some extra cash and want to support South Australia, head to ecsa.sa.gov.au and register to work at the state election.
Get back on the road in the all-new Toyota Hilux at Jarvis Toyota. A 2.8-litre diesel delivering 20 kilowatts more power, plus over 10% improved fuel economy. Rediscover the road in the all-new Toyota Hilux at Jarvis Toyota.
In 4 days, Survivor begins.
Survivor's ready!
Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water starts in 4 days on 10.
Can't wait.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. It's holiday season, but now's not the time to sit back if you're thinking of selling your home. Adelaide prices continue to hit record highs. The opportunity to maximise the value of your home has rarely been stronger. Buyers aren't spending their break just eating turkey. They're proactively trying to secure their next property, and quickly. We've been helping Adelaide buyers and sellers for almost 40 years. So if you'd like to know how much your home might be worth in this current hot market, go to toop.com.au.
This week's specials at Foodland. Red Rock Deli chips 150 to 165 grams. A red hot special, just $2.45. Sanitarium Up and Go 250ml 3-pack. Get them before they're up and gone. Only $2.40. And Maggi 2-minute or Fusion Noodles 5-pack. A Maggi cool $1.97. All half price till February 1st while stocks last.
Great food lives here, Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
Aura Retirement Resort in Findon is 5-star resort-style living with all the comforts, activities and services that you need to relax and enjoy life. Inquire now to secure your luxurious apartment in the Ruby Tower. Brand new 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments start from just $370K. Start truly living at Aura by Live Well Findon. For more information, go to aurabylivewell.com.au or call their friendly sales team today.
It may not be that exciting to learn that Playford Pavers are one of the few companies that still make their own pavers on site. Riveting, isn't it? But what if I told you that because Playford Pavers make their own pavers for driveways, entertaining areas and pathways, you pay a lot less? How good is that? Pay less at Playford Pavers. Visit playfordpavers.com.au.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi. This is Rowey's Sports Show.
8 minutes to 6. Mark Bickley sitting in for Stephen Rowe. Last shout, looking nervous. Calls before we go on the Crows headquarters. Andrew is at St Clair. Your thoughts, Andrew?
John Olsen mentioned the 3 teams aspect. Most AFL-based sides now have three teams in one way or another. Like Hawthorn was mentioned, that with the Box Hill Hawks and the women's side, they've got three teams. Port Adelaide's probably unusual. They'll have three teams next year. I don't see the specific aspect of that above anyone else. I hope the Adelaide City Council rue the day that they were so dismissive of the Crows, because they've certainly cut off their nose to spite their face in this regard. I understand how money talks when it comes to stuff like this at a place like Bowden, Brompton. It is a very, very valuable site. I'm sad that the Crows aren't going to be there, but it is what it is. I hope they're able to make something out of Featherton.
Yeah, I think, Andrew, the point you make around the women's team and John saying, oh, we've got three teams now. Well, a lot of those, like, for example, the Box Hill Hawks, they wouldn't train with Hawthorn all the time. They train at Box Hill. That's right. Arguably. And then you've got Port Adelaide, for example. Guess what? They're doing a big upgrade so they can fit their third team in. So they're in exactly the same position. They're probably fortunate that they've got some area in the actual vicinity where they are to expand onto, and that's created some angst with some local constituents as well, which they've been fighting. And Hawthorn's another one. They're trying to actually move from Waverley to, I think it's called Dingley, which is outside of the city, which is getting away from inner Melbourne. So, and then they're at Waverley, which isn't inner Melbourne anyway. And then you've got West Coast, who have just built a new facility. Fremantle have just built a new facility. Adelaide's facility is very dated right now.
Thank you, Andrew. Richard at Salisbury, your thoughts on the Crows headquarters?
There you go, mate. They're never going to get to build anywhere in the town while we have the Premier of the state at the moment, a holder of Port. The one that's coming, which could come in, is going to be a member of Port. Mate,
Richard, you don't believe that, do you, Richard? Seriously,
I do, mate.
You seriously believe that?
Believe it.
Okay.
I do, because they're not interested in anything but what they want to believe in. They don't look after anybody else in Adelaide except themselves.
Just Port Adelaide, you reckon?
Not Port Adelaide. Not the Premier we've got at the present moment. He's exactly the same. He's a Port supporter. He's number one or two or three. The other guy's number two or three. They don't care. They just want to keep everybody out. It's got to be Port Adelaide.
No, well,
okay,
Richard,
thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your opinion, but I just cannot believe that. No. And flip it the other way. And if Adelaide did get this, I think there would have been an outcry. The former Premier awarded by the Liberal government for a project that arguably someone else offered more money, but because it was better for the community, we went and gave it to the Crows. That would have went down like a lead balloon.
Boys Club, all of those old mates, all of that. No, that was never going to happen. And it makes sense. It's a business decision at the end of the day for the state government. What's going to get you more money and jobs? Plus, you're trying to win an election. So you're not going to win any friends, Bix, if you go the other way on that. Do we have time for a last shout? Have you got something up your sleeve, Bix?
Yes.
Last shout.
Indeed, I do. And I just want to pay tribute to a friend of our show has been on 5AA quite regularly. Jenny Williams was recognised in the Queen's Birthday Honours with an OAM. So well done to Jenny. She's represented the state in 6 sports: cricket, soccer, football, touch football, indoor lacrosse, and lacrosse. Also inducted into the SA Sport Hall of Fame. So that's a no-brainer from where I sit.
Well done. So, of course, Australian of the Year, Dylan Alcott, in a little bit of trouble at the moment, Bix. He lost the first set 7-5. He's 2-0 down. In the second, he's got some
Sam
work
Schroeder is up against the Frenchman.
Sip and save. We have our text of the day. 1 hour delivery. Download the app or hit shop.sipandsave.com.au. The winner is Wayne from Jeps Cross. Bit of pause for effects there, Bix. Thank you, Sam. Wayne from Jeps Cross, congratulations to you. $100 voucher coming your way.
Now, Wayne said if 2020 continues with the retirement of batsmen, I will not watch it. He said Silk was injured before the game and should never have played. No, not quite right, but he was injured during the game. But I guess what he's saying is if you go out to bat and you haven't got a runner, you should perhaps stay out there the whole time.
My last shout is a shameless plug from midday on Sunday, Bix. It's a 2-hour special, a tribute to Meatloaf. And the sporting arena of this is who decided that Meatloaf was going to perform. You'll hear it on Sunday from
can't
midday.
wait.
Yeah, thanks, Bix. See you tomorrow.
With continued cases of COVID-19 across South Australia, now's the time to book your booster. Boosters increase your